Who are we and what is Repopsy? We are psychology researchers at the Laboratory for Research of Individual Differences at the University of Belgrade in Serbia. In March 2020, we launched the Repository of Psychological Instruments in Serbian, or Repopsy. The repository is hosted on the Open Science Framework. Repopsy is an open repository of psychological questionnaires, scales, tests that measure characteristics of individuals. These instruments are either translated to Serbian or originally developed in Serbian. We have people both from our lab and from other institutions submitting their translations. There was no centralized repository for Serbian translations before, so Repopsy makes them more easily findable and reusable. It currently holds 150 instruments. The repository submissions are maintained by a small team at our lab. We received no formal funding for the repository, and it's not yet certified against the trust principles. When we first learned about the trust principles, we were curious to find out how many principles we already demonstrate. We realized that we can also use the principles to chart out future improvements. We provided the results of our self-assessment in a conference paper last year. Here we will present our experience and challenges with the application of the trust principles. The transparency principle gave us some ideas on how to make the wiki page more detailed. It now holds various information that are relevant to users, such as scope or terms of use. Our documentation and curation services are not completely transparent. The submissions are handled on Google Drive because that's the platform the team is familiar with. We currently do not have enough technical know-how and time to increase transparency. The responsibility for technical data services, such as versioning and downloading, is dependent on the OSF. On our part, we made sure to provide a searchable inventory of all instruments. We allow contributors to provide detailed information about their submissions, but we don't provide any further documentation or quality control. So the repository provides the translations of the psychological instruments, but it doesn't always provide instructions for their use or the information on how valid they are. So Repopsy is responsible if it's used in a responsible way. Here we wondered whether we put too much trust in our users. We chose OSF because psychology researchers in Serbia often use it, but the environment is not always straightforward to OSF newcomers. We can, however, make it more user-friendly. As an OSF project, the repository has publicly available analytics, for example, number of downloads and unique visits. We tried to implement as many of the FAIR data principles as we could. We tried to provide enough metadata and to deposit the instruments in open formats. However, our priority was always to offer the files in formats that are human-readable and familiar to our target community, which meant they sometimes couldn't be machine-readable. Here we wondered whether our user focus compromises our responsibility. Especially when it comes to sustainability, Repopsy is dependent on the OSF and on its preservation policies and actions. Repopsy also relies on the OSF to provide the infrastructure necessary to support its secure and reliable services. If the repository was to grow rapidly, we might need to hire data management, cybersecurity, and other experts, and for this, we'd need to obtain some funding. We are psychologists, So having the principles clearly explained in the scientific data article really helped us. We also benefited from attending the Trust Principles mini symposium. There are, however, more free training resources and online self-assessment forms on the FAIR than on the Trust Principles, so the process wasn't always easy for us. We look forward to seeing more resources like those in the future. Thank you.